Hey everyone, it's Desiree and I am here with Paper Rose and we're going to make a birthday card. And today it's all going to be about the watercolor pencils. Now I'm going to show all of the coloring. I'm going to explain what I'm doing and then I will possibly switch over to music. The stamp set that I'm using is called Hey Cupcake. It's a 4x6 stamp set and it's got all these adorable, absolutely adorable stamps in it. We are going to create a background using these stamps. Now, there are 6 cupcakes. We do only use 5 because I have to have that odd number. To me, it's more appealing with the odd number than with an even number. I don't know. It's very strange. So we're just going to place these down onto into our stamp positioning tool. I am using the Brutus Monroe sticky mat. This is an awesome piece thing here. And I'm just going to start placing the cupcakes. I want some of them turned. I want some of them straight on, but I want to make sure that they all are in a different direction slightly. That 6th one was getting on my nerves. So now we're just going to have them in the corners and then also in the center. We will be filling in the background with the other stamps that are in this collection as well. They are smaller ones. I'm going to use my anti-static powder tool because I am going to heat emboss these images. I'm going to use my VersaFine black ink. And we are going to stamp this a couple times just to make sure I have a good impression. I am using watercolor paper. This is Canson XL watercolor paper. And I usually take a sheet of that and I quarter it. So that each piece will measure, will measure 6 by 4.5. So this panel will be trimmed down to a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch panel. I'm using my clear embossing powder, just putting that down, and we're going to heat set that. Once this is heat set, we're going to come in with the smaller images. So the hearts, the sprinkles, the little circle, and so forth, just to fill that background in with some images. Once the images are in place and once they're stamped, I'm going to heat set them as well. So again, using the VersaFine black, it's a pigment ink. It takes longer to dry, and then I will heat set those. I am doing this in stages because if you wait too long, a lot of people, or I used to think, because I've done this is how I found out, I was doing mass production of a heat embossed image. So I was just doing 10 at a time, stamping them, then putting the powder on, and then once I got to the last one, I'd go back to the first one and heat set it. It would dry. It would not heat set. I had to re-stamp it, reapply the embossing powder, and then heat emboss it. So it was very strange because it wasn't that long, but it was like maybe, within 5 minutes that I got back to that first one, or, within, between 5 and 10 minutes. But yeah, it did dry. And I was able to, but I had to reheat set the image. I'm not worried about if the powder gets on the other image. That will just make them even more shiny. So that's fine. And then this is what the panel is going to look like. But of course, we are going to add some color to that. The color medium that I'm going to use are my Arteza watercolor pencils. I think these are great. I do like the Arteza color pencils and also the watercolor pencils. They are really nice. They do blend, and they are at a nice price point. I do like the colors and the way that they lay down. You can use 2 colors. Now, what I like to do is I like to lay my color down and then come back in with a wet brush to pull out all the colors. You can see as I'm laying the colors, my hand is really far back from the point. I don't want to put pressure. You don't use your watercolor pencils like you would your colored pencil. All right. A lot of times we put a lot of pressure down But remember, these will work the same way. If you fill the tooth, you will not be able to add more color, even still that they're watercolor pencils. Now, again, let me please preface this. Everything that I'm saying is based on my experiences. Okay, I'm sure someone will come back and say, no, you're wrong. No, that's not correct. And so forth. This is what I've learned when it comes to using them. So you can see, since my hand is far back, I'm putting less pressure down for the color. These are very pigmented. You'll see how the color is going down, but once you put water to it, they really, really brighten up. I'm making chocolate cupcakes, I'm making vanilla cupcakes. My icing is going to be all kinds of different colors, and so forth. So you can see I left a white spot too. Whatever I was coloring, there was always that white spot. That allows for a highlight because I go into the pigment and then I drag it out. If I have too much, I go back in with my brush, pull some color away, and then I wipe it on my paper towel. And you can see just how these colors are coming to life as you do this. I grabbed a bunch of colors. The set that I'm actually using from Arteza is their 48 watercolor set. It comes in a tube, a cardboard tube, and they're really nice. You have a lot of colors going on there. Remember, you can mix your colors too when it comes to watercolor, even on the paper. You'll actually see that when it comes to the cherry that's on top of that cupcake at the very top there. For the other ones, I just put color towards the edges so that I would have a white center and just added some highlights to them. But you can see how rich that blue gets once we add the water to it, and the same thing with the pink. You don't need a lot when it comes to watercolors. A little does go a long way with these, so they do and will last a long time. You can see there's the cherry. You can see that rich, vibrant color that we have, and towards the bottom, that's where I put the brown, and you can actually see that. The camera doesn't pick it up too well, but you actually can see it. Because I emboss these, I'm able to use the point of my brush into these very tiny areas to move that pigment around. It'll stay within the areas of the channels of the embossed areas, which is awesome. You don't have to worry about it too much. And again, I'm just going to continue to fill in, putting color down lightly, just a little bit, and moving it around just to give it that color, and just having fun with the colors too. We don't have to always be exact. We can make the colors any way that we want when it comes to our art. So now I'm going to turn on a little bit of music as you continue watching me color our cupcakes. Okay, and we have our watercoloring done. I love the colors. They're vibrant, but yet They're not overpowering. I'm going to use the Hugs and the Birthday from the Happy Birthday Fine Script Layered Dies that Paper Rose has. And we're going to say birthday hugs. We don't always have to say happy birthday. So again, the shadow or the cloud part, of which I like to call it, I die cut that multiple times just to give it some stability and dimension. And then I did the sentiment itself just once. And you will see I lose the top of the eye. Yes, even with this, they have the top of the eye. And if the glue would just stay white when it dries, it would be perfect. But it stayed in the die, so that's a good thing. And I'm able to put that down. I always lose those small dots. We're going to place this onto the front of our card. This is a standard A2 size card base, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. We're going to put the birthday across the top, and I didn't want to cover up the cupcakes too much, but figured that going on an angle following them is perfect. I'm going to get my card base set up. I do keep 4 1/4 by 11 card bases set up by this cut by the side, so that I can just score them at 5 1/2, which gives me a standard A2 size top folding card base. I'm going to place that down using my liquid glue. Because we did not use too much water, there is no warping and very little warping with this card, because you don't need a lot of water to move around your pigments for your watercolors. Hope you enjoyed today's project featuring Paper Rose and their Hey Cupcake Stamp Set. All the products that I used will be listed down below. Don't forget to subscribe here so that you can see many more projects to come your way. But remember, what is always, always most important to me. Always be creative, guys, and I will talk to you in the next one. Till then, take care.